Hey guys, Ellie here from the garden, and I thought I'd just take you along with me today. Today I'm doing some container maintenance and I'm starting some veggies in containers too. So I have a very limited amount of space that I can physically garden with here. We have pets and I want to take them into consideration. Yes, I have a space of grass that I could convert into growing space, but then my dogs would have nowhere to run around and lounge and my chickens would have nothing to graze on. So I am fairly dependent on a lot of the containers that we have in our garden. And as much as I succession plant my garden, I also have to succession plant my containers, or at least think a little more wisely about what I'm putting in them. So today I am planting out some pretties and I'm doing a little bit of harvesting and a bit of potting up. So let's go on this adventure together and see where it leads us. So the goal is to take these dragon fruits, plant them into here, but I first need to raise the soil level, and I'm just going to backfill these 2 pots from this one container. Alright, so this is by no measure a how-to. It is merely a what I'm doing situation. So I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to plant this one piece on the one side of the stake, and then I'm going to cut off the other growth on this center section, and I'm going to plant them, and we're going to see if that will root. Like I said, it's not a how-to, it's a how I'm doing it. I'm going to move this to the other side of the driveway so that it can get the requirements that it needs. Hey guys, so the next step for us is to address these 3 containers here. Two of them have died. The catnip as well as the oregano haven't quite made it, but the parsley is still going strong. So the plan is to plant them out with maybe some alyssum and space them out nicely and refresh them. Right, here are 3 containers. This one had catnip in, this has oregano, and and this one has parsley. Now they've been in these containers and they're terracotta for quite a while, but nothing is growing. So the plan is to tip out the soil into another container, mix it up with some compost and refill them. Remove as much of this oxalis as possible that I can from out of the soil before I mix it through, because I don't want to be spreading that seed. But what I am going to try and do is remove this tiny little oregano and pot it up into a smaller container and just let it grow in there, and we'll see if we can get it to bounce back, and we'll plant it somewhere where it has more success. Parsley needs a good clean so that it can actually survive. At the moment the parsley is fighting for root space with this oxalis and it's taken over. So I think it may just be a kind of fate to refresh all 3 containers. And in order to do that, I'm just going to empty out the soil, mix it up with some compost, put it back, and add in some alyssum. Let's give the alyssum some hope, and let's make our pots pretty again. Okay. Let's see if we can get this guy out. Last but not least, our little parsley. That's what we have left of our parsley plant. Let's get it back in the ground. Alright, so I've filled this pot up to the rim. It probably will sink still. I'm just going to make a space for my parsley and its roots. Put that in there. Press it down. As you can see, I've topped this parsley up right up to the rim. The reason I've done that is because once you water it, the water will actually cause the soil to sink and compact it slightly. So now we have a full container. Parsley's been planted again and is going to have hopefully the best opportunity to grow again. So I'm going to put 1 alyssum per pot. I'm just going to go around and pinch off any of the sicker looking flowers or the more wilted flowers, just to give those going into the container a good opportunity to grow. There you go, guys. What do you think? I think it looks quite nice. Hopefully they fill out a little bit and it'll be a nice pop of color and something for the pollinators. Hey guys, so there's been a change of plan. With these containers over here, I'm going to move them out into the drive, but I'm going to move them first because they don't have soil in and it's lighter that way. I'm going to start off in this area. It's not all tears and sorrow with this one. I will be getting rid of some of these plants, but in doing so making space for some of the seedlings that we've got. So unfortunately these peppers have fulfilled their duty. I'm going to harvest the last 2 peppers and remove both of them. I am, however, just going to cut the plant off at the stem, just where it meets the ground, because I would like the roots to decompose in the soil, just giving it back a little bit more. Removed the 2 paprika plants that were here, and then I have this container available, which I am going to designate some calendulas and maybe an alyssum too, and they're over there. Let me show you. So this is what we're currently working with. I have got some alyssum, I've got some calendulas, and I've got some sweet peas. There are 2 sweet peas in the cell, but they have a designated home. I then have these 2 kales, which I've kept aside for my mom, but if I don't move them, they're not going to survive. They need help. I've also got this oregano that we saved from the terracotta pot, and in that container over there I have some marjoram. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking this one and that one and adding them to that container over there, the one the chickens dug through after we freshly planted it, and just help it a bit more. This container has 2 onions growing in it. It's what's left of the original experiment. But they don't like to compete for root space. So I've got to be very careful about what I put in this container, and I haven't quite decided yet what I want to do. If you've got any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Your advice would be greatly appreciated. But for now, I'm going to plant 2 calendulas in this container and possibly an alyssum in the center. So I'm going to do that. So yes, it wasn't too long ago that we actually planted out this container with our beautiful spring onions and our parsley plants. And on the very same day, I think it may have been the day after even, but within days of it being planted, the chickens got in here and started to dig. So we lost our basil that we planted, and I think there was thyme or something. I'm not 100% sure, but we managed to save the spring onions and the parsley. So I was thinking that I didn't necessarily want to throw out this oregano, because it does keep coming back, but the problem is in the container that it's in, it's not getting enough moisture. It's drying out too quickly, and then the leaves crisp up and it dies. But then when it gets watered, new seedlings sprout, and this is now what's left. So I'm going to give it a shot because this container is here, and I wanted it for herbs in any case. So I'm now adding in some oregano to the pot. And then in this container, I pushed these like succulent leaves into the container in case the marjoram didn't come back, and they both came back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to split them up and poke them in here as well. Feels weird. I'm putting 1 seed per cell and I'm like, why? Why am I being so stingy? But I know, like, I need to practice some sort of restraint. Hey guys, so I got a bit carried away chatting to Dunks and completely forgot to close off this video. So I'm just popping in to say thank you for spending time with me, and I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. See you on the next video.